Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today. It's Monday morning. It's post-WrestleMania, April 12th, 2021. I'm the man they call Meathead, brought to you by PWR today, brought to you by Manscaped.com, brought to you by Collar and Elbow Brand, and joined by the lovely and road-weary Linda Kay. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Meathead. Another WrestleMania has come and go.
Yeah, come and gone and in the books. And are you back in town yet? I know it's morning, but...
I'm actually at the airport still because my flight is at 7:30 a.m. and I'm awaiting
So
boarding
what
to
you're
get
saying
back
is...
home.
you're saying that ATF, you're saying that, what is the security called again? What's their acronyms? The people that check your stuff.
TSA?
The TSA, they could be on this very program if we ask nicely.
Ooh, I'm not sure if I want to risk that. I want
I'd
to get
like
back
to...
home.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk sponsors real quick here. Manscaped.com is making sure that everybody's silky smooth, like our friend, your friend, and my friend, David the Zohan Hero. Make sure that you're using manscaped.com. Use the promo code PWR for 20% off with manscaped.com. And in full effect, ringside, collar and elbow brand.com. PWR 360 will get you 10% off. Apparently, the masks are a hot item as well as the collar and elbow Coca-Cola shirt, as seen ringside as well. Collar and elbow brand.com. Linda Kay, you were there. You are still in Tampa. You are on your way home to the Milwaukee, which is Algonquin for the good land.
Good life.
Yeah. I'm only stealing mine from Wayne's World, but what we want to hear and what we want to know, and I want to know. I mean, we talked a little before we went on the air here. Tell us about the WrestleMania experience like no other. I mean, you've been to how many WrestleMania? More than I have. I've only been to 3. You've been to, I assume, at least 10, right? I mean, how many have you gone to?
Yeah, last year would have been the 10th year in a row with our WrestleMania trips. So this one technically is the 10th
Okay.
WrestleMania trip for me, yes.
This one was like no other. I want you to tell us pre-WrestleMania, getting there, the experience, getting in the stadium. You said you did night 1, otherwise known as WrestleMania Saturday. Tell us did you make friends with any cardboard cutouts? I mean, that's what we need to know.
I did. I was able to take some selfies. And but before we get to that, first off, Saturday started off beautifully. I met up with some of my good friends that live here in Tampa, and they're like, "Oh, it hasn't rained in like a month." Well, of course, come WrestleMania weekend, we didn't just get a shower here and there. It was a full-on thunderstorm that started a couple hours before Mania was supposed to start. I mean, fans were already inside Raymond James Stadium. Me and my friends were at a tailgate put on by our good friend Drew Baydala. Great tailgate. That was awesome. Thank you, Drew, and the crew there. It was awesome. Good crowd. There was a cosplay contest, so we had a lot of Stone Cold Steve Austins that were there. And what? Yes. And as that was wrapping up, you could see the clouds coming through, and it didn't look good. And we're just like, maybe this can hold off. Now we're all checking the weather updates, and all of a sudden we're like, well, maybe we should get underneath this big awning. Now, thankfully, we were able to hang out still at that tailgate, which was maybe like a block or so away from Raymond James Stadium. So the plan was just to walk over after that wrapped. But the tailgate got cut a little bit short because it started raining. The other guests already started heading to Raymond James when we fortunately were able to be underneath this big awning on this patio that was on the grounds where the tailgate was taking place.
So you said you were a block or so away from it. How were you getting from tailgate to building? Were you driving? Were you busing it? Were you walking it?
We were going to walk. So we Ubered from where we were staying to the tailgate, which is, I'm going to say it was like 2 or so blocks from Raymond James Stadium. It would have just been an easy walk. But because of the rain, we did go underneath that awning and just kind of waited it out. But as we were waiting it out, I mean, it was pouring. And I know there were like lightning warnings. We heard thunder. And yeah, we were happy we were not like out in the elements quite yet. We were trying to talk to our friends who were already inside Raymond James, and they were told the seek shelter announcements and the posts on the big screens. So I
Yep,
just told everyone
weather
to,
alert. Yep.
yeah, I just told everybody who was already inside, you know, get out of the, the
Get out of the
stadium
open and
part.
go underneath. Yeah,
Yeah.
get
So people
underneath the
were in the
bowl.
hallways. Yeah. So I don't think it necessarily, I mean, was where they had to like go inside the bathrooms and take seek shelter, but it did have those announcements posted. And then my other friends who were driving there were hearing same thing, like, like it's the lots were going to close, like just it's going to be, we're just waiting on word from WWE or from Raymond James Stadium officials, like when can this resume? So we just stayed where we were underneath this awning, thankfully being protected from the elements, but eventually the rain started slowing down. Then we were looking up tweets and we saw the tweet from Stephanie McMahon saying that WrestleMania would now start promptly at 8 p.m. Eastern. So we're like, okay, we've got some time. Like, where should we go? We called an Uber and went up a mile or so from where the tailgate was to an ale house and proceeded to, partake in some beverages and appetizers because now we had some time before we could even go into Raymond James Stadium. So at that point, it did stop raining. Thankfully, it stopped raining. Able to enter. There was one more quick downpour, but they ended up starting night one of WrestleMania around 8:30 or a little after. And at
8:30.
that point,
Yep.
right. So at that point, we were able to then get to our seats and actually see the whole thing, which went for roughly 3 hours, but all the way through, no more elements, weather elements,
Yeah,
that is.
the story is that God was hot about that match with Vince at I think it was a WrestleMania years ago where he had to put over Vince, so he was looking for his payback. So yeah, God was going to when Vince was coming back to WrestleMania, outdoors, first time in 1 year, 1 month, 1 day that God was getting his heat back.
Yeah, I heard a lot of bantering about that being the reason why, but it was just like, go figure. Of all the days, of all the weekends, and just making that trip. And I'm thinking, like, I only have tickets for night one. I'm not going to make it to night two. Like, we're already here. We're literally right across the street from the Buccaneers training facility.
I honestly believe
Yeah.
this is my thought here. I honestly believe that if there was a possibility that the show was going to be in danger, what they would have done is attempted to honor night one on night two. It's not like they were going to have a full stadium. They would have put people in the seats on night two.
Yeah, we were thinking that might have been the option too, because if there's a big lightning warning, that obviously would be the major issue. I'll sit through the rain. I'm here. I am going to be inside the stadium for WrestleMania, and I'm just grateful that they were able to still make it happen both nights, because obviously night two was delayed as well. And I was just thinking, because like it was raining all day yesterday, like from when I woke up till having dinner. And we had friends who were going in last night.
Al, I think we saw our friend Damien, we saw Dave, and it was raining inside their place that they were in too. Did I not see that? Did I see water leaking?
That was true. Yep. Absolutely. It was pouring hard like that pretty much all day yesterday. So again, thankfully, WrestleMania was able to happen. The WWE Universe getting to actually attend it, the talent getting to put it on, production, etc. With the rain stopping early enough to get a full show in again. So both nights delayed, but thankfully the program and the show went on, and here we are.
Wow, amazing. Tell me, and again, it's a unique experience. We know that obviously we watched the show. The crowd that was shown for most of the night, which was the hard camera side, right? The one that you always want to get those tickets because you're on TV all day. That group of people were very close together, like nothing had happened. I wonder out loud, were they pre-screened, and were those people specifically told different rules than say the other people? Now you say you weren't in that group and you were on the opposite side of the ring, that one where the hard camera is positioned. And you said that it was rotating rows, like a gap between rows. So there was COVID protocols and no COVID protocols.
I'm not sure. Well, for me, I like for anybody, for my understanding, at least attending WrestleMania, you had to download a separate WrestleMania app where you had to do a pre-screen questionnaire.
Every team has that. Know before you go kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of like if you're going into a building and they ask you, like, have you had a fever, cough, diarrhea?
Do you have hemorrhoids coming off your knuckles? I mean, any of that.
exactly. Yeah. 4 simple questions where you just answer that, or if you've been exposed to somebody COVID, traveling, et cetera, et cetera. You
Yes.
do answer those 4 quick questions, you hit submit, and now there's this green check mark on your phone that says like you've been pre-screened, and it asks that you are required to have that on your phone when you get to the ticket taker, and that's going to be the first thing they need to see. And then they'll proceed to scan your ticket that you have to have digitally on your phone as well, because everything's touchless, like all the concessions, like that was all cashless. So anyways, when we finally did get in a little before 8, I had the pre-screen check thing on my phone, and the nice woman just said, "Oh, I need to scan your tickets." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I clicked out of that WrestleMania app, got out my Ticketmaster app, and scan. And then my friend, who had her check mark on her phone ready, same thing. She's like, "Oh, we already scanned your ticket." Okay. So I don't know. Maybe those that were on the floor that when you watched Mania, you saw those on the floor, not so distanced. Like I'm guessing, yeah. But you brought up a good point. Maybe those specific people had a different pre-screening that allowed them to be down there,
Correct.
to be that close. Because where I was sitting, again, I was sitting, opposite from camera side, and basically we were placed every other row. So like your group was still obviously seated together, but you're a couple seats apart from the others next to you in your row. But the people in front of you, nothing, because it's an empty row. People behind you, nothing, because it's an empty row. So it was every other row of people.
That sounds comfortable to me, is what it sounds like.
Honestly, yeah. And then what you saw on WrestleMania, it looked packed because it was cardboard cutouts.
Yes.
That was.
Did you make any friends with the cardboard cutouts? I mean, did you get any phone numbers? I mean, exchanging, Instagram handles.
No, but I did get some selfies. They were very, very nice, smiles and all. Looked like they were enjoying WrestleMania as well. But I did go across to meet up with our friend Damien, excuse me, and and we were able to see how it was spaced out for them on the opposite end of the camera side, which was still every other row, but instead of an empty row in front of you and behind you, it was cardboard cutouts. And I'm thinking it's the same ones that they used from the Super Bowl. They were rubber banded in place, and there was, it didn't seem like it was our wrestling family, if you will. I didn't see any, wrestling belts. I didn't see any cosplay. I didn't see, what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they were very friendly.
Visually, it was the best they could have done. I really do think, Matthew and I talked about this yesterday morning. Visually, it was the best they could have done with it. I thought they did with what they could. They must have been weatherproofed, because, again, to go through that storm, how did you not have cardboard cutouts of people just flying around the stadium? So you could tell that they were cutouts specifically in the main event with Daniel Bryan, Yes Chance. There was Yes Chance all across that front group that were next to each other. And then if you looked up a little bit, you saw random hands going up about every. I mean, so the cardboard cutouts, somebody needs to get behind there and still to start lifting cardboard cutouts. So.
Right. Like I said, I don't know how many of those cardboard cutouts were actual wrestling fans. No hands up, no signs.
Maybe they're a Lightning fan, or maybe they're, because that is the Lightning capital. I mean, no joke. That is why the Tampa Bay hockey team, the defending Stanley Cup champions, are called the Tampa Bay Lightning, because it is Lightning country down there.
Yeah, I saw Go Bolts signs. So.
Yep. All right. So, Linda Kay, we've talked about night one, or WrestleMania Saturday. Now it's your turn to tell us about WrestleMania Sunday. Let's run down some of the matches here. And I really was kind of shocked to see, honestly, like I said, I'm really shocked to see that this match opened up the show. It was The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and Randy Orton starting us off. Your thoughts on the match, on the presentation? I love me a good entrance. I love me a great entrance, actually. And the fact that we had Bray, or The Fiend, in that little fire hallway go from burned Bray back to The Fiend, Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I'm very happy they put that package in there to explain why he was not going to be all burnt up anymore. So that started off the match great. We had Randy Orton in some new trunks. Very cool for WrestleMania. And then, of course, The lovely Alexa Bliss.
Wow.
Yeah. So I loved the whole gimmick with the Jack in the Box at ringside. I mean, just watching her again, I love horror movies. I've said this many, many times, and she's just totally playing into that role so well. And once we got the Fiend to pop out of there and the music hits, the
Oh,
lights.
yeah. Hurt. Heal. Yes, I love it. These three right here, Alexa, Bray Wyatt, and Randy Orton, have done some amazing work in the last 6 months. I cannot say it enough. I've been, I use the phrase, I've been pounding this desk, telling you, watch what they are doing. I cannot tell you enough how great a job they have done over the last how many months. But the finish sees Alexa Bliss causing a distraction for the Fiend and Randy Orton picking up the win after an RKO.
Yeah, I was very surprised by that. A lot of my predictions did not happen for WrestleMania, but that's good. You want surprises, you want shock. And I'm just left confused on why Alexa it's like, was that an inadvertent interference? Was
I don't
it
know. She had
just
hard leaking from her eyes. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. Actually, it was her headband, was the one that was pumping out all the goo.
It looked great.
That was amazing.
Visuals.
Oh,
Oof.
yeah.
But,
all right.
yeah, you left in confusion. So now, her and the Fiend ended up disappearing after the match ends. So I'm not sure what that leads us, but hey, got Randy Orton with the win. That surprises me, but it was a great start to night two. Absolutely.
WWE Women's Tag Team titles on the line. Natalya and Tamina Snuka, the winners of Night One's Women's Tag Team Eliminator match. I don't know what they were calling it, but they took on the champions, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I heard Corey Graves say on Saturday night, nobody meaner than Tamina. How is that not a t-shirt right now? That should have been out there a long time ago. That phrase is great. However, greater is the winning and defending champions, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, walking out a big spot where Nia Jax says, "You ain't shiz."
Yeah. Yes.
Up in this bitch. So, wow. I thought there was a chance that Tamina was going to get it after the Superfly splash, but was not to be. The winners still champions. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Natty and Tamina were a great match against Nia and Shayna, just from their history, the past, the previous factions or matches, and just size-wise, like they're eye to eye, toe to toe in a lot of ways. And I thought it was actually a really good match, and it was nice to see the crowd getting, behind Tamina for a little bit, just seeing her trying to attempt that splash, which obviously didn't happen, and I just didn't see who I thought I would see, though, in this match.
And who's that?
Reginald.
No Reggie. That's right. No Reggie. And we talked about this yesterday morning, Matthew, myself. There was no Tom Phillips either in COVID protocol and unable to call Saturday and Sunday action. Also, a little bit of news. We didn't really talk about it yesterday, but now that we have Raw coming up tonight, folks, there's going to be a new Raw announce team. There is a big change. I believe Corey Graves is coming over to Raw. The announcer is coming from ESPN. His name slips my mind right now, but Tom Phillips not calling Raw anymore. I believe he'll be going to, I don't know. I don't know where he's going, but it'll stay Samoa Joe. And actually, I think Samoa Joe's going as well. I think it's Byron Saxton, new guy, and Corey Graves on Monday Night Raw.
But and this happens to be a change while Tom Phillips is in COVID protocol, or due to
this came up before the announcement of him not being able to call the matches.
Gotcha.
That they have is coming from ESPN. So again, the name, and I failed you guys listening to the program here, but dig into it. Look for the news later on today. There should be a Raw announcing team change tonight on the WrestleMania after WrestleMania, or the Raw after WrestleMania. Excuse me. Let's talk about Sami Zayn.
Do you think Reggie was on a COVID protocol? That's why he just.
I'm making an assumption, but I don't have anything to back that up.
Okay. All right. Well, Nia and Shayna, still the champs. I like that. They're still very strong and really taking lead of the women's division.
Yeah, I could have used them to lose, and we'll get to PWR draft stuff in a little bit here. But Sami Zayn with Logan Paul, the internet sensation Logan Paul. Also, he's got a big fight coming up, I think, next Saturday, doesn't he? Taking on
Yes.
Kevin Owens. We did not get the spot that you and I have been clamoring for. Kevin Owens jumping off of something, but I'm okay with it because this match was great. I want to call out one specific spot, and this actually has to do with Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and commentary. Owens hits a Michinoku driver on Sammy, but only gets a 2 count. Michael Cole called it a blue thunder bomb, and Graves had to correct him, saying, "Look, Cole, I'm going to save you from the internet again tonight." Apparently, on Saturday night, Bianca Belair's big pinfall victory, Michael Cole yelled, "She kicked out," when it was a 3 count. And the internet chewed Michael Cole apart. I feel bad for him. It's a big moment. I don't think he intended it, and he made a mistake. It happens. But my boy Kevin Owens wins, and I really liked the way this match went. And tell me how you thought it went, and then we'll talk about what happened right after the match.
Yeah, I mean, they really went at it. A lot of hard spots, a lot of apron spots, and they've had a long history. They were former best friends. We know they're familiar with each other, and they put on a great showing at the grandest stage of them all. It was nice to see KO win, even though I love Sami Zayn, and I did predict him winning, which didn't happen. Another thing that I predicted didn't happen, that was Logan Paul punching Sami Zayn. But I don't know, the whole thing with Logan Paul, I get it. He was brought on to try to bring additional viewers outside of the normal WWE universe, and I'm sure that happened, but I don't think him being there really added much. It was cool, though, to see the stunner on him because it looked like that's what the crowd wanted, and
that's what we were talking about. Yes, absolutely, is Kevin Owens hitting the stunner on Logan Paul. I'm surprised with his fight this Saturday that he took a bump.
Yeah. Well, maybe there was more risk in him having an actual closed fist punch on Sammy, and instead he just had to sell the stunner. I don't know.
I mean, that's all the great thoughts. So he probably talked that all out. And we'll get your thoughts on WrestleMania Night 1 in just a bit here. Let's run down Night 2, the Sunday. Champion Riddle in the background, right around a scooter. And he gets stopped by the Great Khali, who's in the building. Great Khali was not in the building for the Hall of Fame. He did a video, but he made it to WrestleMania. RVD comes by, and this is significant to me because this is everybody's their own person, but I think Matt Riddle is just 2021 RVD character.
Makes
Wrestler,
sense.
no, RVD is Hall of Fame, right? But I love them talking to each other. RVD, says, "Hey, bro, here's some of my branded rolling papers, and we'll talk about merchandising together." RVD has been an advocate for marijuana for a long time, so very happy to see all of that going. That led us right into the United States title match, Sheamus and Riddle, and the match went as I thought it would up until the end. Sheamus popped him right in the mouth. The visual of Matt Riddle sitting there, shocked that he lost, pissed that he lost, bleeding from the mouth, that's the way it should look. Your winner, a new United States champion, Sheamus fella.
Yeah, I mean, that spot was just something different, something we haven't seen. And he did have a bloody mouth, and that face, that visual, like you said, definitely helped tell that story because it not only showed like what legit happened, but it was a different side of Riddle because we still always got that happy, as he says, toasted, type Riddle that's happy-go-lucky, and instead the switch was flipped and he lost his title. I thought it was a great match. Again, we've been talking about the push that Sheamus has had as of late, but it not really coming to fruition with the WWE Championship. But hey, it's gotten him the United States Championship, which I think he will carry strong and seemingly for a while, to me at least. But he's also team long time, so I'm happy about that. And a prediction I had actually came true.
There you go. The Nigerian drum fight for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, Apollo Crews and Big E, played out. I've said this to you guys a long time, Linda. You know this. I enjoy wrestlers being played in. So Wally performs Feel the Power for Big E, and he sounded great tonight. We had two competitors played in tonight. He sounded great. Okay. I love the sound of what Wally did. It's not my type of song. Wasn't feeling it, but I felt the performance. I thought it was perfect. Okay. But what wasn't perfect for Big E was the end of the match. At the end of the match, a mysterious man comes out wearing what looks to be a uniform, most likely a Nigerian military uniform. We know that competitor as Dabo. Dabo comes out on the side of Apollo Crews, helps Apollo Crews win and become the new Intercontinental Champion. Dabo Kato. Wow. He's big.
Yeah. Former Raw Underground star.
Well, it's funny you said Raw Underground and Star at the same time because, boy, Raw Underground was.
Hey, sorry to bring, kind of go off topic, well, kind of, but remember when we were talking about Shane McMahon and Braun Strowman, and I was like, what if we get a Raw Underground match? I mean, we kind of got some Raw Underground reference, kind of, yeah. But the match, yeah, I mean, I am bummed. My boy Big E.
I'd have lost.
Yeah. But interesting way to bring up Dabo Kato. Or did he have a different name now? I wasn't really sure if I heard that.
No,
right,
it's Dabo Kato, but they didn't call him. You said, look at the size of this guy. They didn't say who he was, and they didn't say where he came from and if we've seen him before. So they just said this guy.
Well, remember the draft that took place earlier this year, and he was drafted to Raw, and we haven't seen him, and honestly kind of forgot about it. Right. So this was a strong way to bring him in.
That means he's on SmackDown now because if he's with Apollo Crews.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I don't know if he might still have the same name, a different character, different person. But interesting way to, interesting pairing, I should say. But I think it works. I was a little bummed out because not only did Big E lose the Intercontinental title, but I thought the match was building some speed. There was still more weaponry outside that could be used, the drums and whatnot, but instead it got cut off short, and we got a new champion, Apollo Crews.
There was a gong. Let's talk about the Raw Women's title match. My girl, again, Linda, I've said it to everyone else that'll hear me. I've been banging this desk saying Rhea Ripley will headline in WrestleMania, and she will win the Raw Women's Championship. She was also played in last night by Ash Costello. That I don't know how to say it. I want to know what you thought about that, but that wasn't good. I didn't like it at all.
I need to hear Rhea Ripley's song played just normally, through her entrance. And we all know This Is My Brutality is a big part of that song, but then it didn't quite sound the way it did live. And I don't know if maybe it's just a different version where it's not repeated over and over and whatever else was said.
Honestly, to me,
it was interesting.
Honestly, to me, I think I could have farted bubbles better, but that's just but that's what it felt like. There was no brutality to the song. There was,
but in a different type of way.
I was brutal. Right.
I was just reading about everybody saying, okay, so you got Wale lip syncing and you have this live. I don't even know where to go, but I mean, it does add some extra element. It is WrestleMania. So
it was ironic that there was two play-ins on night 2 and 0 on night 1.
Yeah. That's true. Well, they did cut off, Ash's mic toward the end, and okay, maybe it was supposed to be, maybe it wasn't. I don't know, but I honestly got that big entrance.
I think I was blessed because my Wi-Fi dropped for a second, and came back, and Asuka was coming in. So
there you go.
That was good for me. I was like, that's perfect. The winner of the match and new champion. I do want to pick a little bit at this match. I thought the finish, the last 2 minutes of the match, seemed a little anticlimactic. I didn't get that building momentum of it's gonna be it. It was like, oh, that's the Riptide. Okay, she won. Huh.
Right.
Cool. Awesome. But okay.
Yeah, same. I mean, I was hoping for a long sequence or some more exchanges done. I mean, they had harder spots throughout the match that I feel could have had a better ending, a more climactic ending, if you will. Yeah, I once we hit the riptide, I kind of felt like, that seems like it could. Oh, it is it. Okay. Especially when you're going to take the title off a long reigning champion like Asuka. You want,
COVID era women's champion. I mean, she carried the brand.
Yeah, you would hope for something a bit more, at least for the finish, something more dominating, something more devastating, something more brutal, I guess. To show, to show why Rhea Ripley is that much better than Asuka, and that she, was deserving. I'm not saying she's not, but yes, thank you. You're well put. That's what I was getting at. But yeah, I mean, hey, your girl did win, and
that's my girl. That's a title win. And again, we'll get to the PWR draft in just a little bit here, but let's talk main event for the Universal Championship. Edge, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns. The build really picked up steam in the last 2 weeks on SmackDown, and I actually was looking forward to this match. And it was everything I thought it could be. I loved every single spot of this. I have zero issues with this match. And my prediction of the winner and the same defending champion, Roman Reigns. This went not only the way I thought it would, but the way it should have went. Your thoughts on the main event?
Absolutely. I have said it before in the previous episodes. I was really hoping more for just a one-on-one Reigns Edge match. However, as you just said, the lead of the last couple of weeks, made things a bit more interesting. It showed Daniel Bryan being deserving in this triple threat match, having Roman Reigns tap out a couple weeks ago. But I definitely liked the exchange. I think each star had their moments highlighted and their strong points and things that you would expect. Like with Roman Reigns, you got that interference from Jey Uso that you expected, and that was allowed, which was great to see. I expected some concertos from Edge and him having a ticking time bomb type moment, which we got. So I was happy to see that. I'm not happy. I mean, hopefully no one really got hurt from the concertos, but I knew the chairs would come into play. And it was great to see him hitting the solo concertos, because we know, his previous partner in crimes with another promotion. But we also got Daniel Bryan, just, the crowd being into that was just great to see as well. He got the support from the crowd, and, we got some spots outside the ring, announce desk, a lot of action. I loved it. I really loved the moment when Roman Reigns had Daniel Bryan, or when he powerbombed or whatever he did, to break the table, and then he was shouting back at the crowd that were saying Roman sucked. He's like, "Now you tell him." I forgot his exact words, but I was like, "Yeah, you tell him." And then all of a sudden, Edge with the spear outside, like that. That was, I think, that I popped most during that part of the match. But lots of exchanges. It was great, and the way it ended, I thought was great. No, I thought it was going to end when we got the spear, that final spear from Roman to Edge. I thought that was going to be it, but instead we got to see some more shenanigans, a concerto to Edge himself, and then Roman putting Edge on top of Daniel Bryan for the win. Now, here was the shenanigans part with everyone I was watching with, was sort of like, wait, does that mean that Edge technically pinned Daniel Bryan? Because technically Edge was on top of Daniel Bryan, with obviously Roman on top, but yeah, so that could possibly come into play.
Maybe that gets hashed out at WrestleMania Backlash on May 16th.
Yes. Perhaps, but we got the show ending with Roman Reigns still your Universal Champion.
One thing I forgot.
I'm good with.
Bray Wyatt. Did you catch this? And I popped a little bit for it. One of Bray Wyatt's first offensive moves last night was him hitting a move and then going, yes. So maybe he wasn't around when that happened. No, I don't think he was on air. I think this is his first time coming back since that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it.
Yeah, I did see a lot of tweets and Twitter, talking about that, little thing for Brody. So that was cool to see.
Fantastic. Okay, so that was night 2. That was WrestleMania Sunday. Linda, we want to hear your thoughts on quick hits, highlights, favorite matches from WrestleMania Saturday night.
Yeah, surprised, honestly. I thought that Drew was going to come up or get the WWE Championship back, but instead, or I shouldn't say tapped out, he passed out.
Yeah.
To Bobby Lashley, which, it was like a mixed reaction from the crowd, at least the people around me. And again, it wasn't a full stadium, but it seemed like it was at least around me, almost 50-50, as far as who was rooting for Drew. Okay. Yeah, at least around me. But, I think Bobby Lashley's a great star, great champion, and having him win surprised me just because I thought Drew was going to get that live crowd moment at Mania. But all in all, that was a great way to open Mania. The Bad
Thoughts
Bunny
on
match.
the Raw Tag Team Championships?
Oh, the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Styles and Omos.
Yes. I was surprised by that too. I was really hoping for a New Day victory. But I mean, it makes sense. It's really showing the domination that Omos can have without really having to do too much in the match.
AJ yelling 1 foot, and he put 1 foot on Kofi, and that was it.
Yeah. So we shall see how it goes from there. Well, we get to see a lot of more in-ring action from Omos, but I thought it was, a cool way to really get things rolling with them as a tag team and at WrestleMania.
Okay. And then your thoughts on Bad Bunny?
Amazed. It was actually really good. It was a really good match, and he definitely has gotten quite the star. I mean, like, just the lead up, the build up, the entrance.
He's got a star entrance. Yeah.
He got the best entrance. I mean, the other talent, of course, it was a big entrance, with all the screens and the music and the fireworks for a lot of, those wrestling at Mania. But he got the entrance that was bigger and better than anybody else. And he put on a really great match too, which was awesome to see. Because at first I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be the celebrity in the mat or at Mania. But I think he shocked a lot of people. It's obvious he's been doing a lot of training, and as they've said, he's been a lifelong fan, and possibly wanting to be a wrestler, and obviously that could be in his future. I mean, just every spot, everybody, even when his music popped, and again, it could, the people around me, we were all dancing and having fun. I will say one thing. It seemed like everybody around me, I mean, obviously happy to be there, but you could really see it in everyone's faces, just happy to be there at the live event, despite, the rain and everything. It's like, you got your cheers and boos, but it seems like everybody was just having a good time. Even, like I said, even the baddest, like any of the music, everybody was just all smiles. We were all kind of chatting with each other. Like, I loved it. The people around me were really awesome. We were just laughing and cheering. And Bad Bunny match surprised me. I love Miz and Morrison on Team Long Time. However, I figured the team of Bad Bunny and Damien Priest would win, and Bad Bunny, wow, I'm very surprised. I'm glad to see that a lot of people, at least online, have just said really great things about it too. That was the big surprise, but one of my favorite matches of the night. If not my favorite.
I was going to say, we're going to have to go back to the tape on Saturday morning, but I believe I went perfect on WrestleMania Sunday.
Good for you.
Yeah, it didn't win me any money, but I believe I went perfect because I know that I lost on WrestleMania Saturday. I lost with Drew McIntyre. We all called Cesaro. I had Mandy and Dana for the women's tag team match, but I mean the rest of it, it just didn't work out. But Sunday, yeah, we did good. Let's talk PWR draft. Linda Cabe, the season is over. We cannot declare a winner. According to the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham and Howe, anything under 100 points goes to an automatic review because it is so close. We will have to scour through all the points once again. We are working on presenting a video, and it is possible your friend, my friend, and our friend, Andrew Baydala, we may have to join the Sports Network Entertainment channel and join one of his shows and present the video and present the winner of the 2020 PWR draft.
Wow. That tight, huh?
It is very tight. Again, the accounting firm will have to review that. The points are in for tonight. They were in for last night. However, just like in the election, we are not prepared to announce a winner. It is too close to call.
Ooh. Are we going to get some type of national grid where we zoom in on certain pay-per-views and closely analyze the points for each match again?
We're going to have to. And there is, again, we're going to have to scour, is what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to look things over. So I, as the voice, I'm not the silent hand because I've never been called silent in my entire life. But being the voice of the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, we cannot declare a winner. So, Drew, I know you're listening. David Hero, Team Matt Damien, I know you're listening as well, and Linda and myself. We cannot call a winner. I can tell you who didn't win, sadly. Linda, you finished in last. Team Matt Damien finished in fourth. David Hero finished in second. But the race for first, for the championship between the man they call Meathead and Andrew Baydala, too close to call.
Wow.
So the next pay-per-view and the next season, we believe, we'll have to check with them, starts with WrestleMania Backlash on May 17th. I may be mistaken, though. I think AEW might have a pay-per-view at the beginning of May, like Double or Nothing. So we'll have to check on that. But the new season not ready to start. We've got shenanigans coming up is what we got. And we're going to make sure that everything is official, that all the I's are dotted and the lowercase J's, all the T's are crossed, all the letters and all the numbers are all lined up, and we will declare a winner. We will have a winner for you before we start the next season.
Wow. I mean, it has been a close race, especially as we've gotten down to the wire with WrestleMania being the final event. And this, we don't call it shenanigans for nothing.
That's right. I mean, it has been alleged by David Hero that I purchased a draft win once before. I won that draft fair and square. I'm going to win this draft fair and square as well. I'm going to make sure that the accounting firm does not take any bribes from myself or Drew, and that the accounting firm does everything on the up and up. Okay. So, Linda Kay, that is big news. We've got WrestleMania Raw, the post Raw from WrestleMania tonight. I have zero preview and zero predictions because we don't know what's going to happen. Excuse me. We do know one thing, however. The Thunderdome has relocated. It is no longer in Tropicana Field. Baseball season is in full swing. And who's to say what's going to happen? Linda, let's just go along for a ride. Let's talk tomorrow morning. Let's review everything from Raw tonight. For Linda Kay, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.